Welcome to For the Record, Open Mic. I'm Corey Evaldi from Olmstead Auto Care. Today I'm going to share my thoughts on devaluing ourselves in our industry. Before we get going, here's an important message from our partners.
ShopBoss is software built by shop owners for shop owners. ShopBoss offers real solutions backed by real experience. Simply put, it's shop management software that works your way. When customers are in the lobby and cars are on the lift, you don't have time for a learning curve. Now that's where ShopBoss comes in with profit-boosting features that work the way you need them to right out of the box. From built-in DVI to robust customizable reporting, ShopBoss makes everything about running a shop work more smoothly. Plus, with their Boss Pay Payments feature powered by 360 Payments, you can enter the era of totally paperless payments. From text to pay, remote payments, and consumer financing options to compliant surcharging, and now even offering PayPal and Venmo options, everything is built right into ShopBoss. Plus, everything is backed by a fantastic support team with one goal in mind: your success. Be the boss with ShopBoss.
So devaluing ourselves, and I believe that we do it so much and we don't even realize that we're doing it. And it's not just service advisors, it's technicians as well, it's general managers, it's people that are in front of the line of visibility with the customers and people that are behind the line of visibility with the customers. In my experience, one of the hardest things that I've ever done in my career is go from technician to service advisor. When I did that, it was extremely hard. For one, I knew what the parts were costing. And the other thing is I knew what the job took as far as skill set. So when I was selling to the customer, I would very often apply a discount because I was like, how are we charging this much? I was feeling sympathetic. I was spending with my own wallet maybe. But what I was really doing was devaluing our experience, our skill set, the knowledges that we have. As an industry as a whole, we don't do a good enough job educating the customer, talking to them about even our nuanced day-to-day task. You know, people are like, they'll call you up and go, how much for a brake job? And we just rattle off a price. When in reality, why don't we give them our opinion, not a price, an opinion on how that job should be done, what really right looks like, and having a good brake inspection performed. We get into this because we feel like that's what the customer wants. That's what the customer sees or is asking about. But quite honestly, how many times do we say, you know what, we're going to get your car and we're going to do a thorough inspection. We're not just going to check your brakes. We're going to go over it head to toe because maybe your brakes are good, but something else is making that noise or that vibration. Even building the value of there's certain parts, right? We're not going to put the cheapest on your car. Some of the value of having your car brought to a shop is the parts selection. We know what works in the industry. We know what works on that car. We know the good brands to stick with. We don't want to just put on junk. Just because somebody gives away lifetime brakes doesn't mean that's necessarily what you want. We want something that's going to last long. We've offered this warranty, so on and so forth. We're going to have a technician that's going to take your car. He's going to go on a test drive with it. He's going to listen to that noise. He's going to experience the problem that you're having. And then he's going to do that top to bottom inspection. Once he's done with that inspection, he's going to take pictures, videos, make the notes, and we're going to send that to you. When we present, we're going to have the best solution for you. We're going to give you different options to be able to perform that repair. But then that same technician is still going to be dedicated to your vehicle. And that technician is going to stay on it. He's going to make that repair, and he's going to verify that repair. Once that repair is done, I'm going to take it for a drive. I'm going to make sure that it's sound, it's safe, and everything else, that there is no loose ends to be tied up. We just don't do enough of that explaining. We don't do enough of building that value. When somebody asks us why things cost so much or what, we either instantly try to discount or it is what it is. This is what it's going to be. Even a technician, right? A technician goes, I need an hour for this. I need 2 hours for this. But no why. So now, it just costs what it's going to cost. This is what the technician's telling me. But you got to understand, like, this 1 hour of diagnostic time, I've got 30 minutes of research time into it. that research time is just as valuable as the time that we have that's spending on that car. Why do we believe that that's not valuable time, valuable service? I'd be the first one to admit that I didn't always go for the procedure, because there's been times when, step one of replacing your wiper blades is disconnect the battery. But, that's far and few between now. Even though that you may still come across some of that, it's still important to look into that, because you dive into a job and then we get ourselves caught on something that was note number 1 in the manual. I had a car that was a GM, and the symptom of it was that the radio always defaults to midnight in like January 1st, 1970. There was a reflash for it. It had an all nice list, talk about it, found that. All right, so we're going to do this reflash. Tried it maybe, I don't know, for 4 hours. I don't know how many times I tried reflashing it. And then, there was this little red note that was at the very top of the TSB that said, before you perform the reflash, set the clock time to its accurate time. Otherwise, it won't match the certificate in the flash file and it won't take. So it was that simple. Like, just all I have to do is set the date and time and it would have gone through. That's the stuff that we highly undervalue, but we don't talk about that. We don't talk about it to our service advisors. We don't talk about that into our team. We don't talk about that into our customers. It's really our own fault, right? We are no longer mechanics, grease monkeys. And today I've learned that we're not even technicians. We are service specialists, technical specialists, technology specialists, mechanical specialists. This is everything that we need to be doing to be moving and pushing our industry forward. Stop talking in the old ways. Stop being our old self. Stop doing things over and over and expecting different results. It's not the case. If it's not working, we need to change. It starts from within. If we can just build the value that everything that we do is for a reason, there's a reason why we were able to come to that accurate diagnosis. There's a reason why we have a very low comeback rate. There's a reason why that our price is more than our competitor. We need to teach that. We need to talk about it. We need to be comfortable with it, because if we're never going to get comfortable, if we're always going to avoid that, or we're always going to be quote unquote transactional with people, we're just devaluing our own selves. If that's the way, why should I be paid? Why should I be compensated in a way of a professional when I'm not even projecting myself as professional? Think about the technician that has the gloves on. I remember we used to always make fun of those guys, but then I started wearing them and I'm like, it's kind of nice to come home and not have all the nastiness underneath my fingernails and busted up hands and stuff like that. And then it went even further than that. Having the customers see that and understand, like, hey, this is a job that, this is what it requires. We aren't grease monkeys. We're not that dirt-minded. Yes, we deal with things that aren't always the cleanest under an engine bay or something like that, but we've got to keep cleanliness as part of top of mind. You guys know that we can't get dirt inside a CVT transmission, or really any component for that matter, but yet we don't talk about that. We don't talk about the prep time. It may take 5 minutes to do a service or even flash a computer or something, but nobody talked about the 1 hour of setting it all up. ADAS right now is actually a really good analogy, because hit the OK once it's ready for calibration takes a handful of minutes. But it's an hour setup of putting the targets in the right location and making sure that you got the right distances and all that. And let me even go further, reading the instructions of which ones to use, which targets, how to do it, which calibration to be doing, the front radar or blind spot or whatever the case may be. But we don't do that. We just say, we got to perform a calibration. We got to make an adjustment. We put it in such layman terms where it almost goes back to the old time saying of the pen is mightier than the sword, but we're our own challenges. And that's kind of what grinds my gears in our industry. We're the factor of our own demise. And until we change that and we change it as a whole, we're still going to be fighting the same thing. The other thing that devalues us talking about your competitors in a negative fashion because you weren't there when they misdiagnosed or they screwed up the customer's car because you have no idea. It was an unrealistic expectation that the customer may have had in the first place. The customer may have left out a piece of information that was vital to making that accurate diagnosis. The car may have just never acted up for that technician. So he took the most logical approach to it at the time. But instead, we're going to bash them because we found it when it was acting up in our bay, and now we thought we just got all the credibility with that customer. But you know what you really did? You just made the black cloud in our industry that much bigger. Whenever you get in that situation, you just sympathize with them. You explain, like, these are complicated cars. I can understand how this happened. I've even gone in fact of maybe you should try to give them another shot. Even though that's not my shop, that's different. It's a competitor, different location, different down the street, whatever. It helps the industry as a whole because we're all in this together. I believe that there's 99% of us are in it for the greater good, in it to help people, help the customers, but we don't exude that. We don't talk about it in that kind of light, in that kind of fashion. That's a big problem. So unless we're willing to change and it starts with you, everybody individually, it's never going to happen. So do yourself a favor, do me a favor, do everybody a favor. Start talking about the value of you, the reasons why we're doing stuff, the reasons, the big picture items of what we charge, why we spend the kind of time, why troubleshooting is so complex, different levels of testing, so on and so forth. That is my rant for the day. I hope you all got something out of this and can see our point of view. So this is Corey Evaldi from Olmstead Auto Care, and this is my rant of the day.